Chapter 2, First Day of Classes. The sun rises. Holly wakes up and slowly rolls out of bed. She drags herself over to a chair with some of her running clothes. Holly puts on her black leggings, a t-shirt, and a hooded sweatshirt. She goes into the bathroom and brushes her teeth. The water running in the sink awakens Laura in the bedroom. Instead of getting up, Laura can see Holly is dressed for a run, so she just puts the covers completely over her head and falls back to sleep. Holly pulls back her braids into her headband and then massages her brown-skinned face with both hands to wake up. She puts Vaseline on her lips as she finishes up in the bathroom. Holly grabs her cell, earbuds, and a water bottle and heads out the door. Seeing students or people up at this hour is sporadic, which is why Holly enjoys this time for her run. The college student places her cell in her armband. She only puts one earbud in her ear, allowing her to hear surrounding sounds with the other ear. Her choice of music ranges from jazz, R&B, to flute and violin instrumentals. Today, her selection is violinist Lindsey Sterling. Holly jogs down and around streets close to campus. Holly was not always into jogging, but exercising and other aspects of her life seemed to be in transition. Her freshman year was pretty carefree. She hung out with her friends, met with a variety of interesting people, blogged about innocuous topics like why parents named their children after trees, but always kept up with her studies. Her blogging was the catalyst to thinking more in depth. Holly's sophomore year still was pretty awesome. She was invigorated when she voted in her first primary for Bernie Sanders. Holly loved his ideals of making college tuition free so much, she had already thought of a proposal to ask her parents for half of the tuition money they would save since she voted for Bernie. Unfortunately, Bernie's loss was only the beginning of some disappointing events. Soon after, Holly's sister, Willow, informed the family that she and Wesley's father were getting a divorce after only 4 years of marriage. Then 2 weeks later, her beloved grandfather, Poppy, died. Poppy and Holly were very close. Actually, Poppy was close to everyone in the family. His son, Harold, and his wife, Dana. Of course, Holly and Willow, and especially his great-grandson, Wesley. Up until then, really serious matters like divorce and death and not picking winners in elections never directly affected Holly. Holly wants to go back to that carefree zone, but real life is pushing her into unfamiliar places. Laura is finishing up in the bathroom when Holly returns from her run. Laura dresses quickly and puts her hair up in a bun. She leaves to get breakfast and makes her 9 o'clock class. Holly's first class is not until 11. She rests at the cramped table in the kitchen nook for several minutes to type on her laptop about the weather and how it affects one's mood. After a while, Holly smells herself festering and decides to take her shower. The warm shower brings such solace, she doesn't want to get out. She towels off and looks through her unimaginative wardrobe. Holly selects one of her favorite pairs of jeans and a hooded sweatshirt, layered underneath with a undershirt, t-shirt, and then a thermo shirt. In the kitchen, she pulls out one of the 6 yogurts she purchased from the store and grabs one of the plastic spoons she bought. Her backpack is ready, and she heads out to her first class of her junior year, tossing the empty yogurt container and spoon in the trash can outside of the hall she is about to enter. The journalism class is filled predominantly with females. Out of the 23 students, only 6 of them are males. The professor asked the class how many students have their own blogs. All but 3 raised their hand. Holly started her blog about a year and a half ago. Her blog has an array of topics. Initially, she would blog about the food she ate in the cafeteria, or countries that offered free college education, or her precious nephew. The topic of her nephew came to an abrupt conclusion when her sister Willow got wind of it and instructed Holly to stop posting pictures and writing about Wesley. Recently, Holly had honed in on writing a series of articles about how technology was eliminating jobs in America. Her blog followers swelled from 18 to 57. Some of her classmates have thousands of followers, primarily because they blog daily. Holly's blogging is very infrequent. Holly is early for her 2 o'clock sociology class. She makes herself comfortable by sliding down the wall with her back to the floor outside the classroom and sits with her legs crossed on the floor. The time passes quickly as she scrolls through Facebook and then Twitter. To her surprise, Destiny is walking towards her. Destiny is nearly 250 pounds and stands 5'3", but she is so stylish and personable, most people don't notice her weight. Today, she is sporting black leggings and a wraparound blouse with fur-trimmed boots that match her fur-trimmed parka. The fashionable outfit is accented with bold pieces of jewelry and a long, curly weave. No matter where Destiny goes, she draws people's attention. Holly and Destiny are elated that they will be in the same class. Destiny tries the door and it is unlocked, so they go in and sit in the center of the second row. Soon other students join, slowly filling up the empty seats. Teddy is the last student to infiltrate the room with his presence. Obviously very popular, there are many high fives from the male students in the class, as well as many smiles from the female students. Teddy is average height with a slightly muscular build for a guy. His present ensemble is jeans and a white dress shirt with embroidered letters on the cuffs. Under his cap, which he always wore backwards, is a wavy dark mane. His most notable feature are his eyes, green, surrounded by long dark eyelashes. Teddy had a purpose when he entered the classroom. He seemed razor-focused on Roya, a young lady with a hijab draped around her head. Roya is noticeably uneasy as Teddy sits to the side and slightly behind her. He tries to initiate some pleasantries to gain Roya's attention, but she nervously ignores his comments. Fortunately, Professor Dayton arrives, loudly dropping his briefcase on the desk, and all talking in the classroom ceases. Without speaking a word to the class, he immediately turns his back to the class and begins writing on the board. In big capital letters, he writes, Sociology 114. Then underneath that, he writes his name, Dr. Steve Dayton, along with his email. Dr. Dayton has been in the field of education for more than 30 years. Over 10 years ago, he took a sabbatical. The rumor is he was forced to take a leave of absence over a mental breakdown. Although Dr. Dayton was born in the United States, he often travels to Germany to visit family members on his mother's side. The German American professor is in his 60s. His mainly gray full beard covers his facial expressions, but the general consensus is that he is not a happy person. The professor instructs the students to ensure they were in the right class before he proceeds. A pause is given, as one student quickly gathers her things and exits the room under the disappointing look of Dr. Dayton. He continues to inform the class of the required books, the 2 exams that will be given, and a research paper on differences. There is a collective groan of despair in the classroom. Not deterred by the reaction, he walks around the desk explaining the paper in more detail. Our society is made up of differences. For example, we have people with different body types, he states as he stood in front of Destiny and Holly. "Oh, no, he didn't," Destiny said under her breath. "I'm just healthy, thank you very much." We have different religious beliefs, as the professor points in Roya's direction. We have different genders, looking at Teddy and the blonde girl on the other side of the room. Politically, we may be different, as he passes the clean-shaven, bow-tie-wearing white guy, and his eyes search around the room until he sees a long-haired guy wearing a man bun. He continues pointing out students, then concludes, "Are behaviors based on differences okay sometimes?" The rumbling of anger could be heard in all sections of the classroom. It went on for a few seconds. "How long does this paper have to be?" blurts out one of the students. "It should be at least 25 pages. The class moans and groans again. "I need you to send me your profiles, a resume, maybe your Facebook page or Twitter, anything to get an idea of who you are. I'm pretty sure this will not be an issue, as you millennials, Generation Y, whatever, seem to have no shame when it comes to posting personal information. For my sake, only send helpful information that your grandparents would not mind reviewing," insists the professor. The moaning continues. "The teacher assistant and I will review your information to pair you up and determine a topic for your research paper." The student's disappointment is nonstop. Dr. Dayton walks back up to the board and erases what he had written. He closes his briefcase and heads to the door, providing the class with one last instruction. "When you have finished whining, you are dismissed." Most of the class looks around and shakes their head in disbelief. Some consider dropping the class, either for the inappropriate stereotyping they perceived from his comments or the fact they don't want to do the work required. Most of the students taking the class figured this was an easy A, but after the first session, they are reassessing whether it is worth staying in the class. Roa is the first student to get up and leave. Teddy follows and catches her right outside the classroom. He smiles and invites her to the party his fraternity is having next weekend. He indicates the theme is a pajama party. Roha looks at Teddy like he is crazy, and she walks away. Undeterred, he basically asks all the females he sees from the class and those just walking along the hallway. Destiny and Holly are the last ones in the room. Holly tries to convince Destiny the professor did not call her fat. He just indicated different body types, which could be in reference to height, short and tall. Destiny is not persuaded. She is strongly considering dropping the course. Teddy re-enters the class and places his arm around Destiny. I just wanted to let you ladies know we are having a pajama party next weekend. Please come and invite your friends, says Teddy. Oh, cool, replies Destiny. Holly gave a polite smile, not conveying whether she is interested or not. Teddy looks at Holly. Did anyone ever tell you you look like the supermodel? What's her name? I think it's Jordan something. She is in all the makeup commercials. Jordan Dunn, that's it, Jordan Dunn. No, I have not heard that, but thank you. She is gorgeous, smiles Holly. Teddy opens the door for the two young ladies and then runs off to catch up with a brunette girl walking down the hall. Holly and Destiny leave Kennedy Hall and proceed to the lobby. Do you know him? Asks Holly. A little. He was in one of my classes last year. I think he's a history major and he has a tennis or a golfing scholarship. We have a tennis and a golf team here? Apparently so. So we have tennis, golf, and basketball, but no football team. Petersburg College is not a big school. We have about 5,000 or 6,000 students and maybe 4 or 5% are minorities. That's not only African Americans, but Asians, Hispanics, Iranians, etc. How are we going to have a good football team? Laughed Destiny. We're lucky to have basketball. You're as bad as Dr. Dayton's stereotyping, laughed Holly. After a pause, what about the black guy who was always with Teddy? Do you know him? Yeah, that's Ethan. He's on the basketball team. Okay, I thought so. Destiny looked at Holly. Keep in mind, they are both frat boys. They are only about hooking up with a lot of girls, not having a relationship. Please. I am well aware of that. I just wanted to know who they were. I am not interested in athletes anyway. Oh, that's right. Have you heard from your boy, Johnny? He's not my boy. He's just someone to talk to, states Holly. I gotta go. I'll see you later. Holly veers off the pathway and heads towards her apartment. Chapter 2. Dr. Dayton is the sociology professor. I would be interested in you sharing comments about a professor or a teacher that you may have liked or disliked after the first session and the reason why. Please share in the comments below.